Welcome to the Blue Ocean Solution Podcast, where we feature conversations with innovators and business leaders driving progress in clean tech, construction, and the renewable energy sectors. Our guest is business owner Gusttavo Candelaria from the company Mira Bio. Today, we're going to be discussing his revolutionary biofuel pellet technology and how it's potentially a disruptor in the entire industry. Welcome to the podcast, Gusttavo. How are you today?
Thank you for having me here, Kreel. Nice to meet you. I'm okay.
I'm excellent. Good. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your company in the incredible technology that you've got going on?
I'm a startup founder. I am from Brazil. By the way, I'm based in São Paulo. Me and my brother, 4 years ago, founded the company Mira. We aim to transition from coal to sustainable energy, but we want to do this in a less painful way as possible for everyone that's consuming coal today. We have seen that all over the world, many companies in Europe, Asia, Japan, Korea, US, that are aiming to get away from coal. They want a sustainable solution, just like we want in our lives. But the process to do this replacement is painful. So we in Mira created one solution for creating pellets can be made from different sorts of biomass, like wood that American audience for sure is very used to see it, but can be from sugarcane bagasse, from ryegrass, and other sorts of grass, and many other solutions for sourcing the agriculture for making a pellet that can be a copycat of coal generated energy. And this is applied to different kinds of coal as well. The brown coal, the black coal as well. Our company is a startup. How does this work? That's a different business from the majority of the business. Main idea of a startup that's hard tech is we have to create one technology that's actually a blue ocean solution. We have to be able to beat what's the standard for this industry using. Mira has been invested by the Indie Bio and SOSV. It's a really amazing program and amazing fund that gives support to many companies in this space. They already invested in more than 150 companies. They have different solutions that you guys might can enjoy. To check their website, sosv.com, and you're going to find many startups that can create solutions for the day-to-day of the work that we're using. And they have been supported in Mira.
Wow, incredible. So taking kind of a traditional technology or approach of pellets with burning wood or other biomass material, what specifically makes your technology different than other potential products of the past?
The pellet is a traditional for 70 years or more. Wood, we have been burning for 3,000 years, I would say at least, as humankind, or even more. What that makes it different? Because in the end of the day, biomass is just like a natural battery. Imagine we are receiving, as humanity, energy from the sun, and we're stored in biomass. This is a great way for actually storage, a natural way for storage energy. So we take this biomass from different sources, as I already said, even some byproducts like sugarcane bagasse, rice husks, and others, we enzymatically treat it to become a copycat of coal. How does we always talking about coal, how coal is bad, etc., but it's a very reliable and easy source for energy. But how does coal actually works to be burned? You take the coal, which basically you dig from the soil, you take it and you basically smash it, creating some kind of a powder, and you burn it. You have to enzymatically treat it for the biomass becoming exactly copycat. Why? If you mix the biomass with coal, you're going to see that one burns in one moment, another one burns in a different moment. Meaning both cannot work it perfectly. If you have a biomass burn, it does not going to work for coal and other way around it. So we change the aspects of the fixed carbon and sometimes the sulfur that contains the biomass, or even silica that's ash, so it burns just like coal being burned. So it can be a really replacement for coal without harming the environment.
That's amazing. You had also mentioned when we previously talked that you have a proprietary enzymatic solution that also gives the pellets particular properties. Can you share with our audience what that looks like?
Yeah, we have 2 IP filed in the USPT office. Let me show some pellets here for your audience. You can see that's darker, way darker than the traditional pellets. Another one, both are made from sugarcane bagasse that you can see. The enzymatic treatment takes the lignin, which is basically the cement of a plant. If you imagine a wall made of briquettes and cement, based on the cement, and it creates one effect that is almost like a plastic. It becomes waterproof, so it's easier to transport it and easier to handle with this to be actually after being burned. So that's the aspect that you do. Using one enzyme that can basically make the chemical effects that are ready to happen faster and in the way that we desire. Those enzymatic reactions are made for this.
That's very impressive. The idea of being able to submerge a pellet and then be able to light it on fire, I'm sure would be very helpful for many factories and many producers. So in your business, who is your target audience? Or like who would your ideal customers be that you're trying to get this information and technology into their hands?
It's really odd to say, but it's everyone that's burning coal. There's many possible clients. But the earliest adopters are always the hardest one, forget it, as in every kind of business that you have it. So we are going to companies, especially in Europe, that they have tax incentives to limit the amount of CO2 that they can emit, and companies that are aiming to have pellets for themselves to be burned. But when we introduce one product that can actually replace coal as a plug and play, you can mix it 1, 2, 5, 50, 100% of their machinery. CapEx makes it way easier for those companies accept our products and to try to test it and get excited about it. So our ideal client is a company that's actually burning coal that sees sustainability as something that must be achieved now. It's a
Amazing.
thermodynamic.
Yeah. So would you suggest what are some current trends that are supporting these clients to take a look at what's going on here with keen interest?
In general, sustainability is a thing that creating a sustainable source of energy is something that it's for everyone. So many companies are willing to use it just because imagine you as a final consumer, we are open to pay more for a Tesla because it's more sustainable. We are open to pay way more for organic food because it's sustainable. The same as applies to energy to produce those goods, because in the end of the day, the energy is not going to be a way to have system. Other things that are also in trend in this is one, diversification. Pellets, I don't think is going to be the only solution that's going to solve all the coal replacement. I think wind and other solutions going to also be able to create a pool of a solution. And the another side of diversification is instead of trust in just one source of energy, in only one capacity that can be complicated in the future, when you diversify it using wind, using hydroelectrical, using pellets, we have a more safe way to actually produce your own energy. So you become a more prepared to rainy days that happens with everyone.
What do you think are some of the current trends that are causing challenges for the adoption of this type of solution to reducing, basically carbon and also providing a higher level of sustainability? What are some of the trends that are causing challenges?
Some solutions per se have the biggest wall for this is the capex of the cost of capex for transition. Clients that we have one client, no, potential client, one trade company told me that one company in Germany was trying to using biomass to replace coal, but the fact that they have to transition their capex creates that the capex they have a facility that makes one specific kind of machinery, but only the part of the capex that's for coal, and to make the transition it's around 15% of the cost of all plant. Imagine that you have one business being run for more than 50 years, and for you make the green solution for your energy, you have to expend 15% of the cost of all your business. It's too painful. So what I'm seeing, like the big barrier for the transition is actually the make the transition less painful for the final client, for who is being burned, the material being losing the energy.
Yeah, I think it's probably makes sense to our audience where the solutions have usually upfront costs in order to achieve a better product in the future, but the return on investment is then extended over a period of time. In your analysis, when you are speaking to potential clients and offering this solution and doing this switch, what does your data suggest about the ability to recover those costs and for the company to be back to break even, but at a point of creating a superior product and with longer term benefits? What does your data suggest that you can share with the audience of how you potentially frame the transition for these owners of these plants?
One experience that we had is when you are producing the good that's going to be delivered to the final client, and you can add this extra cost when it happens. It's way easier, and normally, au contrary of the common laws that we have, the clients are very into have it. We talked with one dairy company in New Zealand that they told me that their cost of energy is less than 3% for producing the milk itself. Their clients are willing to pay 20% more for having a milk that's all sustainable. Meaning, and even if the cost twice, it would cost only 3% more, meaning they have a 17% of profit and margins that can be exploited in this for making this transition. When you're going to think about our business, we should think about how can we add value for our client, the final client, in a way that this can be something that can be even profitable for us, this sustainable solution. We should not think only this, that if add $1 extra, that's going to be bad. We should think I'm going to take away 1 extra carbon from the atmosphere. That's going to be good. How can we transmit this to our audience?
Yes, I think our audience would agree because there's the wide variety, majority of us are within the renewable energy sector and also value this type of thinking and also see it as a business opportunity. It definitely opens for entrepreneurs in order to share high value propositions which are a win-win for the business owner, but also for the end user, the customer, but it provides a win for the environment as well. When you, in your business right now, how are you currently finding these potential clients and opening these conversations? What is your process there?
It's going to sound a little bit off the box, but I have one client that we have a letter of intent of $200 million for the next 5 years. I actually found him on ChatGPT. I use AI a lot. I was looking for companies that are willing to make this transition, which companies the directors are attending to more sustainable events that are looking for more this approach, and would be like not a huge client, but one that would be easy to find it. I treat AI as my friend, basically as a co-work, and I actually got it, and they gave me the name of the person. I connected with him in the LinkedIn. One person led me to another, and I got it there. Took me couple months, but it was the way I did it.
And this is your potential pilot project in Europe?
Yes, we are about to run a pilot plant for making 50,000 tons Ireland per year, and even more in the sequential years that can generate this $200 million in revenue. And I found these clients, not the client itself, but who would be the ideal client, etc., using AI. I think it's just one way that we are using on the business development, which for me is a little bit out of the box. It was, at least.
Indeed. So building on your success there, of initiating this pilot project in Europe. How do you see this translating over into the US market? What challenges do you see finding similar projects to be pilots?
US, by the way, is I think would be like at least the second biggest market in the world for this. The amount of we are always thinking the US, but we are not thinking how big is US is the richest country of the world. There is one of the biggest producers of biomass in the world, and there is a lot of industry in the US. And AI, by the way, has another opportunity. AI is going to consume a lot of energy, and it also creates a really good opportunity for generating green source of energy for AI.
Mm-hmm.
In 6 years, AI is going to demand basically the energy that the whole US is needed today. So we have to find solutions to provide this energy for AI as well. AI, US basically is a huge opportunity. We only have to find, just like we did it, good clients for willing to run the pilot and then scale this. Source of biomass in the US is something that is not going to be, there is plenty of biomass in the US in basically every single area that you go. If you go to south, you go to Georgia, Louisiana, there's a lot of different sorts of biomass. In Washington, there's biomass all over. And even in California, there's like a lot of rice husks that can be used to a sustainable source of energy. US is a great country for this.
So then projecting into the future, where do you want to have your strategic priorities over the next 6 to 12 months?
In the next 6 to 12 months, my priority is run this plant in Ireland to deliver the first actual industrial production for this current client in Europe. And then from there, we're going to scale in Europe, maybe in South America, but also in the US. We are looking for the right partners to get it.
Incredible. So with your project in Europe, how much time do you think it will take for you to be viable with both the pilot and with the owners there to see the benefits and then wanting to scale? Is this something that can happen in 3 months, or is this like 6 months or a year? What's your timeline on seeing those successful results and then having more appetite by you and the owner of the plant to move faster forward?
Between 6 and 9 months, because today we already did those pellets in tons, but we never did it as a industrial project must be, like a circular. You introduce the raw materials here and you get the final product here, like circular working. We never did it as an industrial scale. Industrial scale means 6 tons per hour, which means, I do know that's not ideal, but the way I think, like 4 Corollas. Imagine that you are producing 4 Corollas of pellets per hour, 24/7. It's a lot. Between 6 and 9 months is going to be there and going to be able to produce it, creating amazing partnerships with pellets producers in Ireland and other places as well.
So as you look forward, if you could kind of wave a magic wand, what would be your ideal scenario that unfolds over the next 12 months?
Ideal and pretty realistic would be creating partnerships for producing pellets or pellets is materially treated in Ireland, another one in Europe, in the continent of Europe, not in the island, and create also a partnership in the US for the same thing. The US is a huge opportunity for us to do not get it.
Yeah, I would agree. It seems like the logical step in your business evolution to jump into the largest market once you have the success in the pilot project. Couple questions on the business. So what do you feel like is working really well for you guys at Mira Biotech?
General, or let me try to.
In general, or even specific, regarding a team collaboration, effectiveness, how you're communicating to the market. What feels like when you think about your business, we do this really well?
Oh, okay. By the way, the company works in a different way. We have employees in different countries. And a lot of the times we work for home, etc., but in a different level. We actually work autonomous with crews for the majority of the people. Let's go to one specific subject. My brother, the co-founder, biologist, PhD, etc. He understands a lot about enzymes, but he has a lot of things in his mind. But as many scientists you can imagine, they are not like the most, I don't know, focused person that happens in the world. And we also have another colleague in Ireland that's more focused, but both collaborate together for creating this project. How they actually work scientifically together in the theory of what they wanted and how they applied this in the lab and tested everything, the enzymatic treatments for the biomass. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's one specific AI called Node, called LM, that basically imagine like something like a Perplex or ChatGPT, but only based on the paper that we insert. So they introduced more than 200 papers and tests that we already run. We did this pellet, for example, with ryegrass. It's basically, sorry about the stereotype, Brazilians, but actually saw the ryegrass for soccer field. So we already tested with different sorts of biomass. So we got all those results. We introduced it there, our notes that we created, all the papers about enzymes, how enzymes works, etc. We combine everything there, and then this AI combined with Belash is the coworker that we have, and Andre, work basically together. And this AI basically is helping us to organize the ideas, the tests, etc. What should be prioritized based on the information that you gathered there and on that. It's one AI to create to organize us. I think what we make it that the most spectacular, the better that we do, I would say, is the technology itself. This industry is a commodity industry. We have to prove that we can produce it, that we're reliable and other things. But in the end of the day, what we have to have is the products that's better than or even equal the competition, but with some competitiveness that's going to be better. It's a commodity industry. So what I think we'll do better is creating a better product for the same price.
I love that overview. That was very clear, and I can really see how you guys have been diligent through all the steps along the way to create superior products and also back test them, leverage the AI technology to really come to the marketplace with the strongest producing, well-documented, well-tested products. Yeah, that definitely seems like that would be a strong point for you. Then on the other side, what are some of the challenges? I think you've already kind of touched on it, more of the global trends, but what are some of the challenges that you guys face in your current business?
Some challenge that the standard challenge for this is we're a startup, we're not a big company. Every single company that's burning coal normally is a big company, has 200 employees or more. It's difficult for they create the trust on a startup that has less than 10 people working on this. That's one challenger. Another one is as I already mentioned, the cost of this transitional, not only for our technologies, but for all technologies. And sometimes is the incentive of we are used to run the things in one way in our lives. When someone's offering, can you rethink it? Sometimes you're using this for 30 years. It's difficult for you to see that could do things differently if you're not open to this.
Yeah, I think it's a very common experience people in the marketplace have when they have great new technology and ideas, but they're sometimes pressing into industries or companies or ways of being that have been established for a long time. So it's a mind shift, but then it's also a financial commitment to go in a new direction. So those hurdles are real, and it sounds like you're identifying them and seeing them. So I wish you very good luck on moving forward. As we move towards the end of the show here, maybe you could tell us if the big vision of looking at the renewable energy sector, keeping your company in mind, what do you think is the blue ocean opportunity, the big opportunity in the renewable energy sector as we move into 2026 and beyond for this decade?
I think the blue ocean solution is diversification. We have seen many problems put our eggs in one basket only, and this can create a problem for many countries. For sometimes, basically, we forgot how important is we diversify everything. can be food, water, but energy is also one of those things. I think the blue ocean is diversified. So, by the way, if you are creating any other solution that you think that's might not worth it, etc., thinking that gas is more expensive than oil and more expensive than coal, and the gas industry is huge.
Yes, I definitely agree with your analysis that diversification is so critical right now. We've had other guests on the show, and some of the common mottos have been all hands on deck, being we need, because of the energy demand of humanity, we need all of these technologies, we need all of these frameworks to be opened and really pursued, because the demand is so great that we need to supply at a much more effective level. And so there is room at the table for all of these technologies and energy optimization.
Actually, we need to optimize many, many things in this industry. And sometimes, even in the production side, in the distributional side, we can create an opportunities.
Yeah, I
I'm from
totally agree.
Brazil. We lose a lot of energy in the distributional side. Sometimes your solution might be more expensive, but if you can deliver it in a specific location, it might be more affordable for the final client. Try to think out of the box.
I've really enjoyed having you on the show. I'm sure our audience has gotten very excited about hearing about your new revolutionary pellet technology. Could you please take a moment to share important websites or links, how people can find you, and if they want to get more information?
Great. Please go find me on LinkedIn in my company, Mira Biotech. You can find me on LinkedIn. And also in our website that have links for the other connections, CO without M. And you can find more about Mira. You can find more about me, and you can follow us on LinkedIn and get to connect with me.
Perfect. And as usual, audience, I'll keep all of those links in the show notes below. And if you've enjoyed the show so far, please make sure to like and comment and to let us know that you appreciate, and even make suggestions on what type of content and topics you'd like us to cover in the future. With that, I'm going to thank you, Gustavo, and I wish you and your company all the very best moving forward. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you so much for being on Blue Ocean Solutions podcast.
Thanks for having me here. Thanks for considering me here, Kreel. And I hope we will have a success on your side as well.
Excellent. Take care, everybody. See you in the next one.